I'm Dr. Brennan Robb at Active Lifestyle Chiropractic. Today we're talking about muscle work, specifically foam rolling. Now, a foam roller is just that, it's a roll of foam intended to break up large muscle groups. The reason we want to use this and not just stretch is these muscles that we're working on are full of essentially knots. The muscle fibers have wrapped around themselves, shortening the muscle length, tightening it up. If you think of a knot in a rope, stretching that muscle, pulling it tighter, trying to relax it, you're actually helping that knot. You're getting the fibers between so it feels better, but that knot essentially is still there. So you use a foam roller to break those up. So a foam roller is for large muscle groups, specifically the quads in the front of your thigh, the hamstrings in the back, and then the calves in the lower part of the leg. Now, the way this works is you try to get all the body weight possible on the body part being worked, whether it's the front of the thigh or your calf. And then what you do is you roll the length of the muscle nice and slowly, and every time you find a spot that hurts, that is one of those knots in the muscle. And by the book, you stay on that spot for 60 seconds or until the pain goes away, whichever one happens first. Now, if you can't go 60 seconds because the pain is too severe, don't try to, just go as long as you can. The idea is if you don't stop on those spots, there's no benefit with this. And the longer you can stop each time, the more benefit you get each time you do it. Now I will demonstrate foam rolling. We will start on the quads, so the front of the thigh. When you do this, you go down the front, then down the front outside. Not the outside, but the front outside on the angle there. And when you do this, you start right here at the angle of the leg, the crease of the leg. So you do this preferably on carpet. You don't want to do this on tile or hardwood because it will hurt more. So preferably on carpet. You lay face down with the roller starting at the crease of the leg. And then you get on your elbows. And then to get more weight on the part being worked, you cross one leg over the other leg. So the off leg goes over the leg you're working. Then you roll nice and slowly towards your knee without actually crossing the joint or touching the kneecap. And then whenever it hurts, you stop. And then whenever it hurts, that's one of those knots we're trying to work out. So you'd stay on that spot for 60 seconds or until the pain goes away, whichever one happens first. And then you go the full length of the muscle twice. So you go down the length and then you come back up, again stopping each time it hurts. And then to get the outside of the leg, you lay on it at a 45-degree angle. And I don't cross the leg over, I use it out so I can help stabilize. You get on your elbow and nice and slowly again, you work your way towards your knee. And then if it hurts, you stop. And you don't cross the knee joint, and you just roll down nice and slowly, then roll back up. Again, stopping every time it hurts. And that's how you roll the quads.
And action.
So I just demonstrated how to roll the quads. Now I will demonstrate how to roll the calves. Now the calf is similar to the quads in the concept, but it has an additional angle. It has the middle, then the outside, then the inside of the calf. So to roll those, you sit on your bottom and then put one leg over the other for more weight, and you got to get your butt off the ground. So you got to lift up on your hands, and this is where it gets more difficult. Then with your foot straight up, that's the middle of your calf. So you roll nice and slowly up towards your knee without actually crossing that joint again, and then you roll back. And of course, every time it hurts, you stop on it. Then for the outside of your calf, you rotate your foot to the outside, do the same thing. Then your foot in, and do the same thing again.
Action.
I have demonstrated the quads and the calves. Lastly, it's the hamstrings. So this one, you basically sit on the foam roller, and again, one leg over the other for more weight, and then just nice and slowly, you work the length of the hamstring, and then back up. And the hamstrings has two angles, so foot up and then foot out is the other one. And angle your body just a little bit to get it. And again, that's stopping every time it hurts. Lastly, you can roll your back to get the back extensors. If you do that, you do not want to stop rolling on the back because you do run the risk of popping some ribs out. Foam rolling does require a certain amount of body weight to work properly. Some people just aren't heavy enough to get enough weight on the foam roller to properly break up the muscle. So now I will show you how to have somebody else roll the muscles for you, just in case you aren't heavy enough. If someone does the foam rolling for you, this is essentially a rolling pin now. So we're going to do the quads, the front again of course, and the front outside. You start just above the kneecap, which is right here, and then parallel to the floor is the front of the quad. and then you match that 45-degree angle on the outside. You want your hands right on top of the muscle, and then you straighten your arms out and you're just leaning into the muscle. There's no real pushing, it's just body weight leaning down. And you nice and slowly work your way along the front of that muscle. When the person rolling the muscle finds a painful spot, they stop on it. And by the book again for 60 seconds or until the pain goes away. When I stop, I tend to knead, but it doesn't matter if you knead it or you just put steady even pressure on it, it's going to work either way. And you keep rolling up until the crease of the thigh there, and then all the way back down to the knee without touching it, of course. And then you move to 45 degrees. The trick with this one is most people match that angle really well, then they want to push into the angle. You don't. You match it and you drive right down to the floor. So you match the angle, you push straight down to the floor again, hands over the muscle, and work your way all the way up the thigh. Of course, stopping each time it hurts, and then back down the thigh again. And that's how you do the quad if somebody else is rolling it for you. Now I will show how to have somebody else roll the calves for you. For the calves, we use a bolster to get underneath the ankles so there's no actual pressure on the ankles. At home, you can do this on your bed with your feet hanging off the edge, or on a couch with your feet up on the arm of the couch. Or you can use a cushion if they're on the floor. Same idea with a foam roller. You start down at the ankle, you work down the middle, parallel to the floor, to the knee and back for the middle of the calf. Then match the angle 45 degrees for the outside, and then match the angle for the inside. You want your hands right over the top of the area, and just push down good and hard. Work your way up. Every time it hurts, you stop. For 60 seconds or until that pain goes away. And then all the way up to the knee, and then all the way back down. And then you match those angles, and again, when you match an angle, you're not driving into the angle, you're going right down to the floor. So you lock it in there, push straight down, work your way up that muscle nice and easy, and then all the way back down. And of course, every time it hurts, you stop on it. Lastly, I will show the hamstrings right here. The hamstrings have two angles. One of them is parallel to the floor, and then of course 45 degrees. And the hamstrings tend to be easier when somebody else does it for you. I'm not quite sure why, but again, straight arms, work your way up to the bottom of the buttock. Every time it hurts, you stop. And then all the way back down for the middle. And the middle is actually the two inside hamstrings. And then the third hamstring, you match that angle on 45 degrees, push right down to the floor and work your way up it, and then back down. I just demonstrated how to use a foam roller, which is used to break up tight muscles and alleviate the pain that those tight muscles cause. Some of the key points to remember is get all the body weight possible on the part being worked, go nice and slowly over that muscle, and then stop every time it hurts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you maintain an active lifestyle.